Welcome to Love Talks with Ronke. You can see I'm looking so different today, as if I'm going to a party, and that's how we do it here in Africa, especially in Nigeria to be precise. We call it Owambe parties, and it's actually part of our culture, what we believe in. And this kind of dressing most times come up when there's a wedding to attend. So today I want to talk about wedding palava, things that has to do with weddings. And it will be targeted to those who are already engaged to be married. And others can also learn from it. But they are just my target audience for today. So are you watching me today? You have been engaged. You are already planning to be married. Or you already have somebody you want to get married to, waiting for that day to approach. One of the things I tell people is that if you are engaged, don't waste so much time before you get married. Of course, there might be many reasons. For example, I've talked with people who have been engaged for a long time, and they give me good excuses, like probably the man does not have a good job yet, or okay, we want a better job, we want something better before we can, get married. But I tell them, so far you are doing something, you people go ahead with what you want to do. Things will always get better. You see, there is a blessing that comes with marriage that actually increases things. I'm not of the opinion that if you don't have a job or any source of income that you go to get married, that will be irresponsibility. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to wait your whole life, wait for so many years, looking for a diamond or something big before you get married. Another set of people say they are waiting to save enough money for the ceremony. And those kind of people I really get very, very direct with. Why should you be saving for a day when you have a lot of days to live after the wedding ceremony? You see, when you see some people, when you see their wedding ceremony is so large, they've spent so much money, and after the wedding they fall into debt because they have gone to borrow money to prove to the whole world that they had money when they didn't have. And you see, after the wedding there's so much problems because there was lack of finances. Have you ever thought about it, that most of the things we do, are they really necessary? Don't get me wrong, I love weddings, I love beautiful weddings, I love attending weddings. If you can actually afford it, or you have parents that can afford it, then go ahead, enjoy your wedding, do something good, do something great. But I don't believe you have to, stress yourself, borrow the money you don't have to be able to prove to the community that, oh, you too can do a good wedding. And the mistake is that many people focus on that on the wedding without focusing on the marriage. You see, marriage goes far beyond the wedding day. When I and my husband were in a relationship, we never ever, until our wedding got closed, before we started talking about the wedding, what we were focusing on was our married life. How many children do we want to get? How do we want to make money? How much should we save monthly? What do we do with this? What do we do with that? Okay, where are we settling down? How soon do we move? Do we take our base here? Do we do this? Do we do that? That was what we were focused on. But nowadays, you see a couple planning to get married. All they can talk of is, oh, which color should we use for the wedding? And today they pick a color. The next day, he and the fiancé will argue for 2 hours on the next color. When I was trying to get my husband was like, I told him, okay, let's use this color. I said, any color, even if you like, use black and white. I don't care. All I want is I want to get married, carry my wife, and take her home. And you see, so we waste so many resources, ideas. We go to the market. Some brides to be even get sick. They get slim before the wedding. Why? They want it to be the talk of the town. They want it to be the best. They want it to be that. If you can afford it, you can. But if you can't, don't bother yourself. Think about life after the wedding. I heard the story of a couple. They said they didn't have so much money, and they got married. The family brought yams, and after the wedding, most of the yams they siphoned it, carried it home, so that at least when we get home we can see something to eat for a while. But you see, so we end up spending so much time planning for just a day out of a lifetime. And that is being very, very unwise. cut your coats according to your size. If you know this is what I can afford, with whatever you have, do it. Who told you you can't have a wedding of just 10 people in attendance? Who told you you can't have a wedding in a restaurant? Just take your close friends, maybe your parents or your close families, and you do something beautiful, something small, something that won't, take all the money away from the bank. You see, we come from a culture that focuses so much on things like this. Many parents have never ever given their children 2 million or 1 million to start a business. They won't even do it. But when it comes to a wedding, some parents will spend up to 10 million on that wedding. If I was the one, I would just tell my parents, maybe give me one, or maybe give me 5 out of it, spend the remaining 5, and let me start my life with this 5 million. So what am I trying to say? Weddings are interesting. Weddings are wonderful. Weddings should be beautiful. You want to look back and say, okay, this was the best day of my life. How did I make it? How good was I? How beautiful was I? But please let me explain to you, you have a long time after the wedding. So if you are not planning towards your marriage and you are only focusing on your wedding, then you are making a mistake. I didn't say don't plan for your wedding. I didn't say don't have beautiful weddings. But you don't have to do something to fit with the culture if you can't afford it. If you can't afford a big wedding, do a small wedding. I know millionaires who decide they don't even want something big. They go to an island, or some of them travel to Dubai, and they do their wedding there. How many people will be in attendance? You understand? Not so many people, because that was what they chose. So you can actually choose what you want for your wedding. Please don't overspend. Don't break the bank. And don't delay yourself because you are waiting for money to celebrate your wedding. I've seen people, they have been in a relationship for 10 years. And when you ask them, they say, we are still saving money for wedding. Does it actually make sense? No, it doesn't. Why should you stay so long because you are planning just for a day? Please, let's change our mindsets. If you have the money, spend it, look good, do well. But let's not forget that after the wedding, we have so many other responsibilities. You will stay in a house. You will need to do this. You will need to get a car. You will need to get so many things. So why spend everything on just one day that will pass away? Your wedding is an important day. In fact, if you want me to be there, give me an invite. I would come. In fact, I'm dressed to the nines today. Maybe I'll be going to another wedding. But what am I saying? Don't break the bank. Don't waste all your money because of one day, and forget that you have a long married life in front of you. See, we'll see next time. Keep living right, keep loving right, and keep wedding right. Thank you. See you.